These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way. Yeah. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way. Yeah. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith. Tonight I'll be joined by a couple of Norwich guests. We've got AndrewHarvey from the Pinken. Evening, Adam. Hope you're well.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good stuff. Good to have you on. Hopefully we'll also be joined by Samual Seaman, who's a journalist who reports on Norwich City as well. Hope he'll be coming on as well. And so that's for the first 30 minutes of the show. So we'll talk about Norwich. Second half of the show, I'm delighted to say we'll be joined by a local charity called the Fridays. They'll be talking about the denim campaign that they'll be talking more about that ahead of Saturday's game, about the ways of donating jeans at the ground. And also the sort of Miles will be coming on. We'll be talking a bit more to them about the charity and the work they're doing in supporting the Coventry City community. So all that's to come in our second half of the show. Okay, let's bring Samuel in. Let's get him now. Evening, Sam. How you doing? You right?
Yeah, not bad. How are you both?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good. Thanks. I was going to add Miles as well to the chat. Miles. Oh, still on black. I'll bring it back in a minute. Okay, guys, let's talk about Norwich City. Obviously, since the last time we spoke, we've got a new manager now, David Wagner. It's been a bit of a sticky time of the season under Dean Smith. But I mean, what's your first impressions? Start with you, Adam. First impression, David Wagner. Are you impressed with him so far?
Yeah, sort of. I think kind of divided opinion when the name was being banished around on sort of social media. He was the man linked to the job, and I think some Norwich fans maybe looked at his record at Schalke and Young Boys and maybe struggled to see, a sort of positive in him, and they maybe wanted someone, probably even someone like Mark Robbins with that little bit more of a championship experience and someone who's doing quite well in the league. But a great win at Preston last Saturday, and it always feels like the club's revitalised. He's come in, he's got a little bit of character about him, almost a Daniel Farke character, which a lot of Norwich fans took to so well, and we had great success under him. So it feels like this is maybe a fresh start for us, and even if we don't go up this season, there's someone there to build with next season. And I think most Norwich fans seem to be on board with him, and he's getting a great connection already with the fans. After the game at Preston the other day, he sort of pushed the players towards the fans, let them have their moment with the sort of celebrations after the game, and he kind of took that step back, even though he was obviously sort of the mastermind behind a lot of what was good that day. So, yeah, real positive signs in the early sort of David Wagner era.
Yeah, get confused, Daniel Farke. Samuel, was it? I mean, would you say an underwhelming appointment when you sort of first heard of it, or would you say it was an appointment that's exciting Norwich fans? And has there been any sort of changes? I mean, obviously a 4-0 win, but any change the style of football from the games that you've seen under Dean Smith?
Yeah, I think when he first came in, there was, I'd say, a mixed reception from Norwich fans. I personally felt like it was quite a good appointment. There were maybe those assumptions that, given Stuart Webber had obviously worked with Wagner previously at Huddersfield, that it was a bit of a lazy appointment and perhaps Webber going for one of the easiest people. But if you actually looked at what Norwich needed, and that was somebody to reintroduce a recognisable style of play and to develop that relationship with the fans that Adam spoke about, he actually ticked both of those boxes really well. And I actually thought it was quite a good appointment. But from speaking to different fans, I think there were quite a few who were sceptical about it and maybe felt like it was an attempt at Daniel Farke Mark II. But to come on to your second part of the question, in that Preston game, there was definitely signs of a style of play that we haven't seen for a long time at Norwich. Sort of more attacking football and probably more technical football as well than the sort of mismatch of different styles that Dean Smith had tried to put in place at Norwich. And I don't think anybody could actually point at a Dean Smith team, whether they were winning or losing, and saying this is what they're trying to do. Whereas with Wagner, I feel like there might be some games where if they get it slightly tactically wrong, they could even end up being turned over 2 or 3-0. But anybody would be able to point at that team and say, this is what they're trying to do. And I thought that was pretty easy to do in the Preston game the other day. And it looks like a team that's going to be focused on high pressing, energy and attacking football. And I think that's what all Norwich fans want to see. So if they can continue in that vein, then anybody who was in that sort of column I spoke about maybe feeling slightly negative about Wagner coming in, I'm sure will turn around if they can continue to produce performances like they did on Saturday.
Formation-wise, Norwich lined up 4-3-3 against Preston, Adam. Is that a likely formation for this game? And any sort of changes that you think, any injuries or any suspensions ahead of this game?
Yeah, we spoke to David Wagner this afternoon, and he basically reiterated that Ben Gibson's going to be missing for this game. He was back in training this week, but not one that's going to be available for the trip to Coventry. They're going to sort of keep him aside for the Burnley game a couple of weeks' time after. So he's going to be missing, but a lot of the sort of key players, like Josh Sargent, Timu Pukki, they're all available, which for Norwich is a huge plus. Josh Sargent obviously went out to the World Cup and done quite well despite not scoring out there. So, but yeah, in terms of your question about the formation, I mean, Wagner's very much a 4-2-3-1 man, which is kind of what Daniel Farke instilled at Norwich as well. And we sort of saw elements of that, and we saw the team news drop a few question marks at Preston. Kieran Dowell was in the team, and a lot of Norwich fans are not a massive fan of his work, but he sort of looks like a player who's really sort of grasped the nettle under David Wagner. And yeah, we sort of saw the best of him against Preston. So fingers crossed he's another one that can sort of create the chances for Timu Pukki, which have kind of been a bit of an issue so far this season, and maybe why his goal tally is maybe not higher than what it is. So yeah, I can imagine it'll probably be something like a 4-2-3-1. That'll probably be the sort of formation that he's going to go with. The likes of Ono Hernandez, who's maybe been cast aside a little bit in sort of the early stage of the season. He's been given a role in both of David Wagner's starting 11s in the first 2 games. So he looks like another figure that's going to potentially get more game time. So yeah, I think you'll see a high press attacking Norwich City team. And that's what a lot of Norwich fans are enjoying watching again after sort of the football of Dean Smith, which didn't really have an identity or a style.
Unfortunately, that was identity and style was apparent when I went to Carrow Road early in the season. And, Norwich came out a comfortable 3-0 win. So I'm hoping that old type returns for this game, of course. Sam, you've got a question here from Glenn Watkin. Evening, Glenn. He wants to know what's going on with Todd Cantwell at Norwich. Obviously, he's been linked with other clubs, and obviously Sam McCallum is a former player of ours. Would he be involved on Saturday? Do you think, or do you think he'll be on the bench?
So to start with Todd Cantwell, it's basically a situation where he, through various issues and factors, hasn't been the player that I think anybody knows he can be, or the player that a lot of probably people from outside the Norwich bubble will recognise from that sort of good 6 months he had in the Premier League. There's been sort of personal issues with head coaches, just form and fitness as well, that have meant that he just hasn't found the player that I think most people would associate him with. And that's meant that he will be leaving the club this month, unfortunately. And it's one of those where I don't think any Norwich fans are particularly against the idea of him leaving, which might sound strange to people who maybe haven't been in and around the club for the last couple of years, but he really hasn't produced much. I still think he's yet to get a goal or assist this season. And as much as there's promise and everybody knows about the talent that he has, he just hasn't been able to show it. And I think it's seen by Norwich fans as a bit of a sad one. As much as they don't oppose his departure, it's sort of one where they look at it and think, how much more could he have achieved in a yellow and green shirt? And you look at that positive 6 months in the Premier League where he was scoring goals against the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City and putting in fantastic performances that made sort of the whole of English football and English football fans stand up and notice him. To have that player now unable to really produce for Norwich in the Championship is quite a sad scenario. But I think most Norwich fans will wish him well as he moves on to what it looks like will be Rangers, and we're expecting that one to be completed before long. And I'm sure they'll wish him well because obviously he's a Norfolk boy. And I hope that move gives him a bit of a fresh start and something that he needs to restart his career, because there's no doubt about the fact that he's got the talent to do it. There were just various circumstances and factors that got in the way in the last couple of years at Norwich. And on Sam McCallum, I don't expect him to start on Saturday, unfortunately. He has performed quite well at times this season. I think under Dean Smith, he was quite a Dean Smith player because he could do a bit of everything, a bit of an all-rounder, not necessarily outstanding at defending or attacking, but he certainly didn't show any major weaknesses in his game when he played for Norwich. And I think that suited Dean Smith quite well. But David Wagner's come in and he sees fullbacks almost more as attackers than defenders, and they're a massive part of the creative process and function in his team. So Dimitris Yunus is a much more attacking fullback than McCallum, I'd say, and a much more technically capable fullback, has come in and done really, really well without the leash that Dean Smith's defensiveness had become for fullbacks at Norwich. So I do expect him to start. To be honest, I'd expect to see an unchanged lineup from Norwich on Saturday. So I'd be surprised if we see McCallum from the start, which I'm sure will be disappointing for Coventry fans. But for anyone interested in how he's doing, I think it's just about that change of head coach that's impacted his game time. I think when he's come in and played, he's actually been quite a good player, and for Championship standard at least, he's definitely up to the level. I know he struggled with injuries quite a lot, but I think if he can keep those away, he's certainly up to this level, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him feature in a Norwich shirt at times in the future. But on Saturday, I'd be surprised if he does play, to be honest.
Yeah. Miles, I'm going to bring you in from our point of view. So a couple of questions there that you've seen already. One question here, obviously Danny Cashman been recalled to us from Walsall. Is it a game where you'd be looking to, put him a chance to recall him, put him on the bench maybe? Because it's better than having two goalkeepers. I think that's the point you made actually, funny, isn't it? I mean, the point is that we are sort of light, very, very light of players, aren't we, really, in the squad? I mean, hopefully that's... Well, obviously, it doesn't appear that we're going to sign new players this week. I mean, maybe Wilson Esbrand might make an appearance. I don't know. There's not been any talk about him coming back from injury. But how concerned are you by the lack of options within the squad ahead of this game?
Well, we are where we are, aren't we? Really, to be honest with you, it's we know the size of the squad. We know that we don't have the resources that other clubs have. But Danny Cashman is. He's had his little loan spell at Walsall, and it's the only option that we've got is to put the under 18s, under 21s, whatever you want to call them nowadays, on the bench, because Saturday, when the team news was announced and there was two goalkeepers on the bench, that's enough to put any team off running out the tunnel, to be honest with you. Although they did give a good fight in the first half. Well, first 65 minutes was fantastic. But I think you've got to just drag everyone in as much as you can and try and start with your strongest 11 and just pray to God no one picks up an injury on Saturday, because we're really, really lightweight. And as you said, the new signing, Josh, hopefully his swelling's gone down on his knee and hopefully he'll feature in Saturday's game. But I've seen a few comments coming in. Do you think Panzo will be back this week? I think Jonathan Panzo should walk straight back into the team. We definitely need him back in the back three. If we play the back three, we might play like we did on Saturday and play flat back four, and Bidwell cope quite well with that. But who knows? You just don't know what Mark Robins' thinking is. And probably it's gone a bit slow on the old signing of the players, because we're waiting for Doug King to make his debut today talking to the press, and it was a good 40-minute press conference. And it is very excited to be here at Coventry and with the fans. So you never know, first home game back since the takeover. The fans might be a little bit louder, and the team might go and do a shock and beat Norwich. But after the away leg, I can't see it.
No, I mean, I went to the game at Norwich and I was absolutely underwhelmed by the performance. We were absolutely outclassed by Norwich, and I'm hoping that lightning doesn't strike twice over this game. I must admit, I do fear for this game, because I think you look at Burnley and Norwich obviously Norwich coming up, and Burnley got two very tough games, and I think this game for me is another game I feel everyone's got to step up to the plate. I think we're playing Norwich at the wrong time. They've got a new manager, Wagner. The players seem to be responding to him. They got a very, very impressive win, 4-0 at Preston last week. And that the only thing that might go in our favour is a 12:30 kickoff, and sometimes the favourites don't always do well on a 12:30 kickoff. But I'm kind of clutching at straws a bit. But this is definitely a game I'm not massively optimistic about. I think Panzo will come back, but I'm not sure who you leave out. I thought at Burnley, to be fair, Miles, I thought we played quite well, didn't we? So that's the only thing I would say. We did play well at Burnley, and we actually were the better side. It was just again the finishing was the problem, and it's not just the midfielders. Even Big Vic. I mean, 1-on-1, and he fluffed it. So I'm hoping that we'll be better better for this game. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, what's the way of beating Norwich? You say, Miles? Is it just trying to press them, get into their faces a bit, or is it just trying to hit them on the counter? I don't really know. Really, what's your thoughts?
Well, let's just say, just go out there and just go at them. That's all we can do. We got nothing better to do, have we? Really, we've got this again. It's probably another free hit, which Saturday was. If we'd come away with something, happy days. But I mean, we've just got to try and go at them as much as we can. I think you lads just mentioned earlier that you started to do the high press, and I think we play that way as well. So it could be very, very interesting. I mean, Adam and I were having a chat yesterday, and we said, it could be one of these games where it's really entertaining because both teams want to put the press on and they want to pass the ball around, and it could be quite open, or it could go the other way and be one of them normal lunchtime kickoffs on Sky Sports and be 0-0. But I think we've just got to just go out there, do what we did against Burnley in the first 65, 70 minutes, and just try and take the game to them. We're at home. It's Doug Kingsford home game in charge of, as owner of the club. He's come out today and said that he wants the fans to get behind him, behind the team. He wants the journey together as one. He just doesn't want to do it on his own. He wants the fans to be involved. He wants them to get behind the team. So you never know. It could be an absolute peach of a game. At the end of the day, we just got to go up there and just go and enjoy it. And if we lose, we lose. The key for me is, we always dream of the playoffs. We always dream of going back up. But if we just can nick a result on Saturday, it would just finish the week off nicely. And who knows, we might get a signing in tomorrow. I mean, the lads, you were just saying, was it Samuel? I think you mentioned about Campwell. Is that defo that he's going to Rangers?
I think we've lost.
He goes to Rangers. He's asking. Sorry.
To answer the question, I think it's pretty much nailed on. I don't think it's been announced yet, but we are expecting it to be announced. And there's no way he features on Saturday at all.
Yeah, I think on Campwell.
What about Pookie? I mean, I'm a big fan of Pookie.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. I mean, how's his season?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a difficult season where I think he really struggled under Dean Smith in terms of the service wasn't really there for him. He was kind of the only player in the box at many points, where you kind of saw at Preston the other day, Norwich sort of had 5, 6, 7 players in the box at different points. They're almost overloading the box, and he kind of thrives on that sort of service where, someone like Kieran Dowell looked like sort of the creator that maybe we've missed since Emi Buendia. Pookie and Buendia were kind of just intertwined. They had a great relationship and they knew where each other were. And that was ultimately the reason why Norwich sort of stormed the league in the Championship there a couple of years back. And even the time before that, we sort of saw the kind of, the start of their relationship. And maybe Pookie struggled for service this year. Josh Sargent's kind of probably been the standout in terms of the strikers, and there's kind of been this sort of age sort of debate amongst Norwich fans. Maybe Pukki's lost that turn of pace that he had, but we kind of saw the revitalised Teemu Pukki that we know in the Championship on Saturday last week. He looked like the main man again. Sort of, he found those pockets of space. The first goal, he's in the sort of position where you know he's going to score the goal, and the second goal he got was absolutely superb. He turned Fernandes and sort of put the ball past Woodman in sort of superb fashion, and that's the Teemu Pukki that Norwich fans love. So he's only 11 goals away or 12 goals away now from 100 Norwich City goals, and it almost feels like maybe under David Wagner, this is his opportunity to reach that landmark before the end of the season, because his contract's up in the summer, and we actually got an update on it this afternoon, and they basically said there's been an offer on the table now since the summer, but Pukki's kind of going to wait till this summer to make a decision, because it probably feels like maybe if Norwich aren't back in the Premier League, that maybe his time at the club would be over, and he'd maybe go seek a last sort of big payday or opportunity somewhere else, whether that be in the Premier League or probably more likely a big European league somewhere else, for sort of just to end off his career, really. But in terms of a Norwich City striker, then I can't think of many in my lifetime that are just naturally as good at finishing as what he is. I mean, Grant Holt's probably the only other one that I can really name, but they're very different strikers. Holt's your sort of traditional British number 9, and Teemu Pukki's kind of a much more just that European striker. He knows, he's got that instinct to find the bottom corners, and he's a very good striker, especially at Championship level. There's not many better in this league.
Not as good as our Mark Robbins, though, eh?
Yeah, no, very very well loved character amongst the Norwich fan base. I think he's our top Premier League goal scorer still of all time. So yeah, he's certainly got a lot of love from our end.
There's a question coming here for you guys. How many Norwich fans are you bringing down to the game? Wayne's worried that it might be our lowest attendance because it's on Sky and the weather, but how many you sold? Have you sold your allocation?
I think it's mid 2000s. I think the Norwich head of communications put out a tweet earlier saying it's mid 2000s, which is I think they only sold more tickets for 3 Premier League games last year. So Norwich fans are definitely turning out in their numbers, and it's interesting for us as journalists because every time people come to Carrow Road, they come sort of into the press area, and they're talking about how long a journey it's been, and often these like journalists from the Midlands, like covering Aston Villa and Coventry and Birmingham, etc., coming and saying, "Carl, that was a long drive." But for us and for the Norwich fans, obviously we'll be going on Saturday. Coventry is one of our shortest trips of the season, so that probably explains why Norwich are bringing so many. But hopefully that will help out any attendance issues. But yeah, it should be quite a good atmosphere, and Norwich fans are definitely going to be feeling boisterous after that result against Preston, and the mood amongst Norwich fans is so positive at the moment with how Wagner's first Championship game went, and obviously they're looking at how things could be in the future and definitely back in the promotion conversation. So yeah, it should be quite a good atmosphere. I'm actually really looking forward to it, to being there, and it should be quite a spectacle. So yeah, plenty of Norwich fans coming. So yeah, no need to worry there, Wayne.
And do you think your team is good enough to get back in the Premier League? I know you went on this little bit of a blip and things like that, but are you good enough? Are you good enough to get back into the Premier League this time around? Because obviously this is probably the worst season that ever fans have seen Norwich play in the Championship, because you've been up, down, up, down, up, down. You're raking in the £180 million every year or every 2 years. It'd be lovely for us. We'd love a bit of that. So if you're feeling generous, you want to send it our way, please do. But do you think you're good enough to get back up there this season?
The squad is definitely good enough. The players are definitely good enough, and I'd say probably only Burnley have a better squad in the league. And when you look at the caliber of head coach now that they've got David Wagner in, all the elements are there. It's just for me about how much damage they already did in the first portion of the season. I don't think that should be used as a reflection of how they will perform from now on. I think it's basically a different team and a different. It's almost as if they've had a totally clean break in the season, because there's no way they were achieving anywhere close to what they possibly could in the first half of the season. So if they don't better their points total from now to what they did before Wagner came in, I'll be very, very surprised. But as I said, it's just about, can they recover the gap they created? And the biggest problem I think for Norwich is that they probably are now maximum looking at playoffs. So the gap to Burnley and Sheffield United is absolutely enormous. And no matter how good they are, and any fan of any championship club will know this, no matter how good you are, you get into the playoffs and it is a little bit of a lottery, and any team could lose in the playoffs. You play one bad game and you're basically out of contention. So I think that's probably the worry for Norwich fans, and I'd say that's the biggest obstacle standing in the way of them potentially being promoted. But I'd say the players are definitely good enough, and you compare them to the majority of championship squads, and I think the large majority of championship fans would swap if given the choice. But that poor start to the season has put them in such a bad scenario now that they have got a lot of catching up to do, and it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for predictions for this game. We're going to go. Adam, what's your predictions for this game?
Yeah, I think you'd have asked me a few weeks back when Dean Smith was still in charge. I'd have probably gone for a Coventry win and quite a convincing one. But it feels like the mood is all sort of swaying towards the Norwich City win, and I don't think it'll be as sort of such a big win as what we got last week. But I can see a 2-0 Norwich, another clean sheet, and probably a couple of a decent goals. Probably Teemu Pukki on the score sheet. He seems to have found his form again. So yeah, feeling positive, and yeah, that's a rare feeling this season. So really looking forward to the game on Saturday now.
Samuel, what are you going for?
I'll say 2-1 Norwich. I think it would be fanciful for us to be expecting 4-0 victories week in, week out from now on, as much as it felt like that might be a possibility on Saturday. I do think Mark Robins has just got Coventry in such a rhythm that, especially at home, they should always provide a test, and I don't really see Norwich turning them over. But I think Wagner's system just allows the quality of the players to shine through, and against any championship side, you have to back them really. So just playing the percentages, I'll go for a 2-1, and hopefully it's a pretty entertaining one for us to watch.
Miles, what do you reckon? You reckon we can?
I said it'd be an entertaining game, and I said to Adam, as I said yesterday, but I just stuck to 1-0, so I'm going 1-0. But you never know; it could be 4-0 to Norwich. You just don't know, could you? We just got to go into the game and feel positive, and and we've always got to go for the win. And as Samuel was just saying, if their fortunes have started to turn, then it could be really tough for us. It could be another return to Carroll Road, I think. But 1-0. I'm going 1-0 all day long. Why not?
Yeah, I think. I mean, there's a few comments here. There's a few 2-2s, a few 2-1s here. I can see 2-1 Cov Andy, Webby saying 2-2, and Mark Reed 2-2 as well. I think we can get a draw out of this game. I think 2-2 is possible. I think we'll give a better account of ourselves than what we did at Carroll Road. But I do worry about the Wagner effect and the fact that they turned over Preston quite easily 4-0. But having said that, I thought we actually played well at Burnley. So I think there are some reasons to feel a bit optimistic. But we just need to improve our finishing, and that's been the problem. Certainly, we had opportunities last week and we didn't take them. So they're really important that hopefully they've been working on that in the week, and we can get a positive result. But I thought defensively looked good. I thought Norton Cuffy on his debut was fantastic, and I hope we'll get to see him feature on Saturday. As you say, don't know what the situation is on Wilson Esbrand, but he's a player that's got a decent pedigree coming from Manchester City. So yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think whatever happens, I think it'll be an entertaining game. Norwich are a good side to watch. Could play good football. I think it'll be a really good game. But I'm going to go 2-2. So there you go. Surprise, surprise. I'm sitting on the fence. But that rounds off tonight's Norwich preview. So Adam and Samuel, thanks for coming on. So we're going to end the first part of the show. Thanks, guys. We're going to have a small break, and then we're going to bring our second guest on, Jacob Day, from the Fridays group, and Miles will be speaking to him about the Denim the Jeans day at the CBS. So stay tuned, and we'll have a small break. Thanks.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, good evening and welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy and we've got Mark Smith here. Thanks for that, Mark. Well done, mate. That was a good little insight into the game, wasn't it, for a Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's always good to have opposition fans on to tell us things that we don't know. So looking forward to the game. I think it's just, I know there's been a couple of comments saying I'm being a bit downbeat as usual, but I just worry about the lack of depth in our team. We haven't got the players to come off the bench like a Norwich or a Burnley do, and turn the game round in their favour. And hopefully that situation will change. So we've got to be patient with Doug King and that. I think what he said today was encouraging. He said all the right things in terms of trying to not sell our best players to secure the future on the ground. And that's all you can do, really. You obviously actions speak louder than words, but I think that he's made a decent start for me. He seems a guy that I can sort of get behind, and obviously we wish him all the best.
Yeah, definitely wish him all the best. So if Doug's watching or his brother's watching, good evening, and let's just get the season kick started again, because I think we've just sort of drifted away a little bit. So we've got a special guest on now for the second part. Now there's a bit of there's a opportunity at the weekend. If anybody has got any old jeans, dig them out the cupboard after you've watched the show. And this is the reason why. I'd like to welcome Jacob Day from Fridays. Good evening,
everyone.
Jacob.
Hi, Jacob. Evening.
Hello.
How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yourselves?
Yeah, not too bad, buddy. Not too bad at all. Now, listen, Jacob, tell us a little bit about Fridays, because, we've got fans who are watching us and people watch us later on. They'll watch us later on tonight, tomorrow, during, on the run up towards the game. What is Fridays, and, who are you all?
So Fridays is a anti-knife crime and gang violence organisation based in Coventry, hoping to tackle the issues. We are currently running a project called Drop the Denim, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Which is where we collect jeans, we process and wash them, and give them back out to the community.
And Fridays, how did it all start up?
So we started with Tyler Campbell when he was 18. After his previous experiences, he thought he needed to help tackle these issues within Coventry and help out some other young people who are around his age, older or younger, try and get them avoiding getting in with these groups of people or getting in, starting it themselves.
And this gene collection, then, it's you've been running it. I've seen some where you've had it in the West Orchards, you've had it at various locations. What made you get the drop off at Coventry City at the CBS Arena? How did that all come about?
So we have contacts all around Coventry, and we managed to strike one with them. And furthermore, we're going to be speaking at our halftime as well. So our team will be doing some things at halftime to help raise awareness for the project and Fridays as a whole. So it's one of our best contacts we've had, and it's just absolutely amazing people down at Coventry City. And
the players, you're getting donations off players?
So we've currently had donations of Sky Blue legends Dave Bust and Dave Bennett, who were really, really nice, really, really good people. And it's been a pleasure working with them.
And whereabouts is the drop-off on Saturday? Whereabouts is it going to be at the ground?
Our drop-off is going to be by the Jimmy Hill statue with some of our amazing team out there. They'll be all around the Jimmy Hill statue. So please come down and drop off your denim.
And who came up with this idea then? I mean, what is it for? What, donating it to people that can't afford to get clothes, or is it for homeless? Who's it all for? Who are you collecting it for?
This is for anyone who needs it. So in the cost of living crisis, as you both probably know yourselves, you can see a person who has no money wearing some of the finest clothes possible, or someone who's very, very rich wearing which is wearing like very, very plain clothes and everything. So we don't tend to judge people by how they look. We tend to have people come in and collect their jeans if they want to. If they're passing by and they fancy the jeans, and then come in. If they really need it, they can get it. And it's just for anyone who really wants it, because we don't because by looking at someone, you can't really see their financial situation, especially with how this has impacted everyone on different measures. So they might have got really nice clothes beforehand, but now everything's hit. They're kind of struggling a bit. So they're more than welcome to come down and grab some jeans themselves. So it's for absolutely everyone.
And where these drop-off points then, can they collect jeans on the day, or is there somewhere else that they have to go? Have you got somewhere special that you've got set up a shop or a collection point in the city centre anywhere, or is it just they get in touch with you direct?
So we have to wash and process the jeans first to make sure that they're suitable to be handed back out. But every Saturday, 11 till 1, at this Methodist Central Hall, so Coventry Central Hall in the town centre, is where we hand them back out to the community. And
are you in charge of washing them then? You got to do all that.
Not myself personally, no. No, I've got a brilliant team that does it all for us, which is really, really appreciated.
Who has to do all that then? Because I wouldn't like to do that, especially jeans.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple of volunteers that sort that out, like such as Trish and some of the other members of the team, which are all really, really amazing.
I mean, I've seen you out and about at the Godiva Festival, things like that. Tell us a bit about what else Fridays does. Tell us what else they do in the community that people don't know about.
So our other initiatives include our food bank, which we host alongside of the denim on the Saturdays, where we'll lay some food out. People can grab up one of our bags and they can load it up with all the food and stuff they require, along with us going out to homeless people on the street and giving them food bags straight out directly towards them. We also host our choir, absolutely amazing people, and angelic voices. Can't even describe it any less than that. They've done some amazing performances. They're actually performing next at the Lionesses Training Centre to go to do a performance there, along with our Fridays nights where we get youth off the street and we give them warm food, some entertainment, some education to try to convince them not that that life isn't for them, and that there's other ways, and that there are people that care about you in society. Because a lot of people think, oh, the streets don't care about you or something, but there are people in the community who do look out for you and don't want you to go down this avenue of life. So yeah, that's kind of our other main initiatives.
And I don't know if I've missed seeing a picture, but I think Tyler's met the King, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Tyler's a big, Tyler is a big fan of the Prince's Trust, which is obviously what the King ran, and yeah, he got to meet the King regarding that.
And then these, Fridays. I follow you on Twitter, follow you on Facebook, and everything, and you do a wonderful job. I mean, what made it come about? Was it all about? Because there was a lot of knife crime, wasn't there, a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago? Is that what really made it happen? Was it that really pushed it to raise the profile of it all around the youngsters?
Yeah, definitely. Tyler saw a lot of young people getting involved in the life. I mean, if you go around today, you might see some groups of large groups of people, or you hear in the news about 15, 16-year-olds getting involved in stabbings and stuff like that, which is absolutely horrible, getting at such a young age. So it's just about kind of striking early, getting the intervention there before any of this can happen in kind of later teenage years or early adult years, or even before that, because it seems to be getting younger and younger. Obviously, how grooming works is when they'll get you as young as possible, especially stuff like county lines and all those other gang activities, which we really want to help prevent.
Yeah. And listen, we've got a comment here. I'll come on to some more questions for you in just a sec. I know I'm throwing you under the bus and everything here with a comment, but Fetta's put up here, do you ever take other clothing items other than jeans, i.e. T-shirts, jumpers, jackets, trainers, etc.?
So currently we're only taking denim, because it's just kind of what we do at the moment, because it's how we process this and everything. It's only currently denim, but that includes denim jackets as well, or literally any piece of denim, like even denim bags if possible, like any kind of denim that you have.
And then do you take, is it just adults, or do you allow infant, baby denim, infant denim, child denim? Do you take all of those?
Yeah, so at our Saturday nights we have quite a lot of mothers, fathers, and children come along who would all appreciate our denim. So yeah, literally any sizes at all will be so much appreciated.
And then this choir, you say they're going to be singing for the England Lionesses. Is that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, is that before they come to the CBS? Is it? Is
No.
that
This isn't. This is so that's separate. That'll be next month when they go into
Oh.
the Lioness Arena to perform.
Oh, okay, got you. Now, listen, what time is it on Saturday that we can all come along and donate our jeans to you?
So we'll be there from 11 until probably a couple hours after the match finishes, or possibly before. But definitely, if our best time would be definitely before the match starts. Like I said, just by the Jimmy Hill statue.
And are you all coming in to watch the game? Have you managed to get some tickets out of them so you can come and watch the mighty Sky Blues?
Unfortunately, some of us are going to be out by the bins in case we get donations. So not all of us will be able to, unfortunately.
I bet you. Are you going in or are you staying out there?
I'm staying out. I'm staying with the team. Yeah.
And do you because obviously we're Sky Blue Fans TV, we're going to ask you, do you follow the Sky Blues at all?
I've never been too much. I've been more of a basketball person, but ever since moving to Coventry, it's always been something I've kind of kept my eye out for. You know what I mean? Just get a bit of the news and everything like that. I don't understand football way too much, but you know what? If I was sporting, it would be Sky Blue. So
you said when you moved to Coventry, where have you come from then? Where have you arrived?
Keynes.
Sorry?
Milton Keynes.
Oh, okay. And how is that different then down here down in Coventry compared with Milton Keynes? Less roundabouts?
Yeah, that's when we get so commonly. Yes, a lot less roundabouts. Yeah, I think Coventry's way better personally. I've never been a massive fan of MK Dons. Just don't never really just I don't know, just never really appealed to me. So yeah, but definitely Sky Blues definitely seem like a lot more of a better atmosphere, way better fans as well. I think down in Coventry. So.
And then I mean, being at the CBS on Saturday, there's going to be probably, I would say, around about 15, probably 18,000 people. What's your message out there tonight to get them to come down and donate? Tell us why it is so important that they donate their clothing to you. Give us a massive big up for yourselves and everyone that's going to be volunteering on Saturday.
So everyone, if you're listening, please come down and drop your denim. It'll be so much appreciated as we'll wash and process and hand out back to the community because you never know who might just need it in our core community in Coventry. It's so important that these stuff gets recycled. 1,800 gallons of water goes into every piece of denim jeans that are created. And so far, we have recycled around 1 million gallons. So if you'd like to come drop your denim and help that number even higher, that'd be so much appreciated. Help those around you.
That's some figures, that is, isn't it? 1 million gallons of water that you've recycled, really, with all the jeans.
Yes.
So how many pairs of jeans is that then?
Oh goodness, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was around 560.
Really?
On the spot.
Yeah.
I have put him on the spot, and sorry, mate, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. And if anyone wants to join Fridays, can anyone come along? What age group can you be to come to Fridays? What age have you got to be to come in and then carry on enjoying what you do at Fridays?
So our attendees for our Friday nights events tends to just be under 18. So if you see a Friday's night event near you, if you're under 18, just come along and enjoy what we have to offer. But volunteer wise, we tend to kind of do above 12, 13ish. The band obviously will only allow them to work on certain things depending on age. But yeah, attendees for events, as long as you're under 18, you're more than welcome to come along.
And on those nights, what is it? Is it like a real? I remember going to a youth club when I was young. I went to a youth club and I remember being there on the first night that they aired EastEnders for the first time on television. I mean, that's how old I am. So that's how far back I'm going here, Jacob. Is it like just a normal youth club? Is it just like any sort of youth club where you do anything you want, or is it set out in the evenings what you're going to do that week?
So after the massive cuts in youth club funding that the government have imposed these past couple of years, we've kind of started our own that goes round Coventry. So it doesn't just stay in one location. We travel all around Coventry. And what we do in these events is we tend to just provide nice hot meals to everyone, refreshments, and some education, and along with, just having fun. So we'll have moments where there's like breaks where people can kind of like get to meet each other and have a bit of fun just within themselves. with usual activities on tables where they can, if they're more of a to themselves person, which is fair enough for some people, and they can read their, we've had people like read their books if they wanted to come along, just read their books, or they can do some colouring or do some jigsaws. But yeah, like our last event we had in Winning Hall at the Haggard Centre, that went really well. We had a magician come down, and we had loads of games with loads of prizes and plenty of hot food from the chippy as well. So,
and fish and chips.
oh no, pizza and chips we had.
Pizza and chips. Oh, blimey, that's brilliant. That is. And are you always looking for donations? Are you along the sort of lines of food, drinks, things like that to come along and help on a Friday night?
More food drink donations go towards our Saturday's food bank that we host, because it'll just be easier, because we tend to plan. We're going to start planning our Fridays nights about quite far in advance to make sure we get everything correct. So stuff like that. But we are looking for donations on our website at fridays.org.uk if anyone's interested, which we've much appreciated, which go directly towards our causes.
And they can find you on what other social media channels can they get you?
We can be on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok as well as our website, and LinkedIn even.
Oh, wow. On LinkedIn as well. I've only just started learning how to use LinkedIn. Mick's just put up here 1985. That was the first episode of EastEnders. Yeah, I think you could be right. Cheers, Mick. Thanks for making me feel old, mate. I'll bring my flares along on Saturday and chuck them in your bin. Now listen,
brilliant.
now listen, I'm going to be live outside the CBS this weekend. So are you guys going to be up for a little chat live on air around about 11:30, 11:45?
Definitely, 100%. Yeah, that'd be absolutely amazing. It'd be brilliant to meet you all, you guys in person as well. So that'd be absolutely amazing.
Brilliant. Now listen, give it one last plug. Massive plug where they can come and drop the jeans off Saturday.
Everyone, come drop the denim on Saturday down at the CBS Arena, Jimmy Hill statue. Any denim, jackets, jeans, any piece of denim you have will be so much appreciated and reused back into our own Coventry community. Make sure to follow Fridays on all our socials and go to our website, fridays.org.uk, to find out even more if you're interested. Thank you very much.
That's brilliant. And what time from?
From 11.
There you go. Time's important, because someone
Time
might
is
get
very
there at
important,
9 o'clock and say, they're not here. Listen, Jacob, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight. And all the best, mate. All the best. And, really go and enjoy yourself on Saturday. And, I just hope it all works for you and you get another 1,000,000 gallons of water to sort out with the jeans. That's good, isn't it, Mark? You got anything to ask him before we say goodbye?
No, but I think what you do is great. Fantastic initiative, and keep up the good work. And everyone please donate. I'll try and find some old knockoff jeans as well with some holes in it, probably, no doubt, and I'll donate it away. So it'd be good. So I hope everyone can donate, and hopefully it'll be successful.
Yeah, brilliant, Jacob. Thanks for coming on, mate. You've been an absolute star.
Cheers,
Jacob.
Cheers.
Yeah, and we'll see you Saturday. Yeah, we'll get you all on live, and whoever not at the game, they can see you live, and everyone donating their jeans. So we'll put this out again on our socials over the next couple of days, and we'll give it a big push for you as well to say don't forget to donate your jeans outside Jimmy Hill statue for you. All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure coming on here, and thank you for the opportunity.
No worries.
No problem at all, Jacob. Take care, mate. Look after yourself.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
Ta-ra.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Brilliant. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
But there's so many. I mean, for the podcast I've been doing, it's been some really good people I've met from the city. I mean, the other one I want to add is Skype support as well. I think they're brilliant. I think there was a guy I did forgive. I don't remember his name, from sort of helping rehabilitate sort of people with addiction issues. I can't remember what his name was, but I thought he was a really good guest as well. So there's a lot of good positive, things that people contribute to our society. The fact that it saves gallons of water, as he mentioned there on his on the interview. I think it's good for the environment. There's a lot of good benefits. I think it's a really good initiative, and wish him well.
And I mean, Mark, we're open for anyone to come on here, aren't we? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, do you want to send a message out to people out there that do want to come on, and if they're doing charitable work or they want to promote anything, just get in touch with us, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, our Twitter channel is always open at Sky Blue Fans TV 1. We're also contactable on Facebook if you just search for Sky Blue Fans TV. Instagram as well on our Sky Blue Fans TV Instagram page. I think we even got a TikTok page as well, haven't we? So, you know, and also you might be able to see you on Saturday at Dillon's maybe. So, you know, Miles always at Dillon's or on an away ground. So there's always plenty of opportunities to bump in. But this is what the podcast's about. It's about the community. It's about the fans. It's not just about the football. It's about the local community. And it's great to see that the work that people put in is great.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. And as Mark said, you know, if there is anyone out there that wants to come on and tell us what they're up to, then please do. We're always looking for new guests, aren't we, all the time? I just want to, before we finish up, let's have a little chat about Doug King. Mark Reed's put here, from what Doug King said about the Fraser Group today, I could see the Fraser Group taking a minority stake in Coventry City. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Well, personally, I think it's positive because I think it's important that there's a good relationship between King and Ashley and the rest at the Fraser's Group. Because I think if you listen to what Doug King said today about the ground, I think, you know, I think he's kind of quashed the idea of ever building a ground at the University of Warwick, as the previous people were saying at Sisu. And I wouldn't be against it personally. I think we've got to make the CBS Arena our home. So I think that is a positive step. Some may disagree, but you know, I think it's important that we build a really good rapport with the Fraser's Group. So I hope. I mean, let's just wait and see. Obviously, there's time. You know, let's see what happens. But I think I was quite encouraged by what Doug King said today. Yeah,
I was at work, put it on, listened to it while I was pressing away on the old university hoodies and stuff. And his attitude I thought was really spot on. And the way that he got asked, are you going to be approachable? And his answer was yes. In a way, yes, I will be approachable. And from February, he will be coming around and talking to people and going off to forums and things like that. So, I mean, that's one thing that I noticed straight away with his interview, which is absolutely superb. We hardly heard a boo from a goose, did we, with Sisu? There was nothing there, was there? I think this is going to be a completely different sort of approach to the football club and the fans, isn't it?
Yeah, I think obviously he's only just kind of got his feet under the table. He's still getting to know. I mean, obviously he also spoke about the relationship with Mark Robins, and he seemed like he was seemed very happy with Mark Robins, and they seemed to build a good rapport. So that's definitely a massive tick in the box. So that's one good thing. I think, you know, there's been a lot of talk on social media about, you know, when we're going to sign more players. And I think we all think like that as fans. I personally would like to see a couple of probably 3 additions, you know, by the end of the month, because I still feel this squad is not really that well equipped at the moment. We are short players. Okay, we have got injuries, and I think, you know, Godden and Walker, for example, will probably come back, and probably Fads will come back next month. But I still feel we're light, and I feel that's another area where he needs to give Mark Robbins some help in the transfer market. So that's another aspect I feel. You know, hopefully, I mean, he did say obviously that regarding the existing players that, you know, we don't want Vic to go because he's a massive player for us, and obviously Vic can buy into his plans, and not just him but everyone else. So that's another side. But I think for me, another thing he'll be looked at is, and he talks about, you know, spending money on quality. I think that's one thing he did say on his interview today. I don't think he's going to be a sort of owner that's going to be throwing money at the problem. He mentioned, like Everton, an example. You look at clubs in the Premier League who've spent a heck of a lot of money and they've not got anywhere. And it's all very well having money, But if you don't spend that money wisely, then you're going to struggle. You know, it's common sense. So I thought he spoke a lot of common sense today. I was very encouraged by what he said. And it's good that he wants to speak to us, not us, but hopefully maybe Sky Fans TV. It'd be great if we can get him on.
I am trying.
We're trying. So yeah, it'd be great to get him on because I think it's great for the fans to listen to what he's got to say and then to ask questions as well as ourselves. So, but yeah, all in all, yeah, I think it's positive. But you know, there's work to be done, definitely.
Yeah, I like what you just said as well. That you picked up on the bit about money, spending money on players. It might not work out. Just look at Everton and people like that have spent big and it's not worked out. He wants to buy quality, not quantity. Cardiff, another example. I think when we first started the season, we were all talking about it, weren't we? We were all talking about different teams signing loads of players, and we had only signed Casey Palmer just before the start of the season. And I think, did they have something like 18 players they signed or something? Wasn't it stupid?
Yeah.
And then look at Forest. Okay, they've started to click now, Forest. They're slightly just out the relegation zone, but they brought in 20 players. I mean, you don't want to see that, do you? You don't want to see that at all. I don't think I want to see that. I want to see quality, don't you?
Yeah, because I think the one thing we've got in our favour is we've got a fantastic team spirit, and you could never ever take that away. And I think when it comes to signing players, I can't say I'm an expert. I'm not a football expert, but I think one thing you've got to look at is personality. They could be the best player in the world, but if they're not good for the dressing room, then it's not a good thing. So you need to have players that not only are good players, but also good for the dressing room, and they can play to the style and system that Mark Robins wants to play. So
yeah,
I think that comes into it, in my opinion.
Yeah, a couple of comments coming through before we wrap it up. Mick Davenport, good evening, mate, has come on again. King was honest, and that's all we asked for, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. As we just said about, we never heard boo from a goose with Sisu, but they've still got 15% stake. You never know. Mike Ashley might buy that 15%. Who knows? Keno Tomo, good evening, mate. I think he is holding on to the money for next season to make a difference and get the right people. No, not to rush into things. I think he said that, didn't he? He didn't want to rush into things. I think we will see cameo appearances from the under-23s to bolster the core squad. Yeah, could well do. I think we could get one more loanee in as well. So we could possibly get one more loanee and maybe a permanent signing, which would be lovely. I mean, Keno's saying bolster the squad with the under-23s, but key thing there, holding the money for next season. Now, a reporter did ask him, I think it was Andy Turner from the Telegraph, said 9 players are out of contract at the end of the season. What are you going to do? So you could be right there, Keno. He could be holding on to it to make up the loss of those 9 players, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we just don't know. I mean, as you say, there are a lot of players out of contracts. I think the one interesting one actually was the Jamie Patterson scenario, where I think we all thought that he was going to be starting for the club, and then all of a sudden, I think there was a post from Andy Turner saying that it wasn't going to happen, and I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it's because he failed a medical or the club had second thoughts, but I'd have thought he would have been a decent fit for us because we're carrying our hair out for the rest of the season and then probably into next season as well. We needed someone to fill that position, so that was a bit of a surprise. But I think we just have to trust Robins' judgment, and hopefully we can strengthen, because there's no doubt about it. If we lose a Gyökeres or even Casey Palmer, we've got very, very little attacking options, in my opinion, and it's a big concern of mine.
Yeah, I think we're still gutted about Callum, to be honest with you. I missed him on Saturday, definitely. Feta D, intrigued as to who our targets are in the transfer window, as Patterson was never an interest of ours, apparently. Well, I don't know. Swansea said that he wanted to move back to Cov. So, yeah, I don't know what's gone on there. Russ Watkin, good evening, Russ. Buy into our Prem push. yeah, I think he wants the fans to get on his side, and for all of us to push to try and get through the door, to try and get us up through the door and out the other side, didn't he? Really, I think he wants everyone to get on with it and get up there, support the team. I know some of the ticket prices are a bit expensive, but you could buy a half-price season ticket. You could buy, I think they do the 5-match tickets, things like that. So that reduces the price of the tickets. And I know not everyone can afford to go. I've really struggled this month. I don't know how I've managed to get to the away games. In a way, I'm glad the Preston game's postponed. It sort of saved me an away ticket price. But yeah, I think he's right, isn't he? We've all got to get on side, haven't we? We've all got to get on side. Sisu have gone now. Yes, okay, they got 15% share, but Sisu have gone. He's the main man. He's the director. He's the chairman. Chairperson, not let's say chairman, sorry, chairperson. We've got to get behind him, haven't we? We've got to get behind him. Absolutely. I know we get behind Mark Robbins and Adi Vidas, but we've got to get our bums up there, haven't we?
Yeah, and as I say, I thought Doug King was very measured in what he said today. He didn't sort of promise the world, so to speak.
Yeah.
I personally don't think. I mean, we've been out of the Premier League for 22 years now. After this season, which is a long time. Me personally, I don't think we should even be thinking about Premier League. I think it's about consolidating the Championship, and I think it's about building blocks slowly. For me, if we build blocks slowly, if we can just consolidate in the Championship this season, if we can finish around mid-table, I think that's a good season. And we've got to be realistic. We're not going to get in the playoffs because we just don't have the depth of players to do that. But if we're patient with it, and I think Mark Robbins is really buying into that idea of, can we get to the Premier League? Because I think he'll be here in the long term. I don't think Mark Robbins is going to go. He seems very happy with the club.
Yeah.
He's very determined to get us back up to the Premier League. We just have to be very patient. But I think I'm hoping there are going to be some green shoots of recovery under Doug King. And I'd say it's very important that we all get behind him.
Yeah, definitely. Now, listen, we're coming to the end of the show. I just want to say, thanks, Mark, for letting me do the last half. You did the first half. Well done. Brilliant stuff. It's been a good show. Variety is what we like.
It's been good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening as well.
Yeah, we've had a few in tonight. Great comments and everything else. Now I've got one more special guest to say hello and to say goodbye. I found a mini-me.
Yeah. I thought that was me there
got
for a minute.
mini-me.
Yeah.
Hey?
I thought that was me there for a minute. I've got more hair than I usually have.
He's got me Peaky Blinders hat on, and he's got a special Sky Blue Fans TV hoodie.
Love it. No, that's really good.
Do you know what I've been doing that tonight? Was cooking dinner. Oh, Jesus. Never mind. There's one of them, innit? Listen, so we got a live streaming Saturday outside the CBS. We're going to start at the CBS this weekend. And then what we're going to do, we're going to walk down to Dillon's, just grab a few fans down at Dillon's. And then what we'll do is then go back to the ground and just go and watch the game. So we're going to start outside the CBS. We'll grab hold of Fridays and have a chat with them, and you can see what they're doing about the jeans and everything. So that should be good. And then Sunday night, you got a show, Mark?
Yeah, we'll be talking, hopefully, winning against Norwich City, against all my pessimisms that I used to talk. So, we've got a review show on Sunday, Norwich. If anyone wants to come on as a guest, then obviously send us a message on Twitter or send me a message directly on my Twitter page. Sky Blue Fans, there's Mark Smith CCFC and Sky Blue Fans TV 1 Twitter handles. And then we've got another show Thursday next week, Huddersfield preview. We've got a guy called Ben Dixon, who's a Huddersfield fan, will be the special guest for that show. So yeah, lots to look forward to.
Brilliant. So just want to say thank you very much, everyone, again for watching. And thanks for all the new subscribers on Twitter and YouTube, which is absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, very, very happy about that. And spread the message to everyone. It'd be great to have more people listen to us. It'd be really good. Thank you.
So, last message: don't forget to donate your jeans. Jimmy Hill statue Saturday for Friday. Saturday. No, I'll do it again.
You're thinking
don't
Friday,
forget to donate your jeans on Saturday for Fridays, Coventry.
Yeah.
at Jimmy Hill's statue from 11 o'clock and after
Yeah.
the game. I'll see you Saturday live outside the CBS Arena. Mark, I'll see you Sunday. Play up Sky Blues for me.
Yeah, play up Sky Blues for me as well.
Brilliant. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Cheers, guys.
And
thanks, Miles.
see you soon.
Cheers. Good night.